Hello, hello, and welcome to the Touch Yourself
Let's
show.
do this.
Uh, if you are joining us, please come on, share this link to your friends, your family, because we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. Things that we don't normally talk about, especially when it concerns sickle cell and women. Even sometimes men are concerned about it too when it comes to sickle cell, but because of the issue around women. Uh, with sickle cell, it's even more out there, as you will say. So we're going to be talking about so I have a baby. What next? That is pregnancy in women with sickle cell, because there are so many myths surrounding sickle cell that we don't realize whether which one is true, which one is not true. So welcome. If you're joining us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel so that you can be alerted when things like this come up. If you're in Facebook, glad to see you. Share this link with your friends, your family. This is a Touch a Cell show with Toyin and the gang, and I'm your host, Toyin Adesola. And with me hosting as well is Yomi Oyelami. Welcome, Yomi.
Finally. Wow.
Yes, we I'm sure I've been wondering, but she's normally with a boring. I can't understand that, but Yomi, he's a new part of the gang, online gang, So
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
we are doing this. We're including men. It's not all about women
In
empowerment. We are men
fact,
included in this
this
thing
this
as
show
well.
today is just interesting.
So it's good to see Yomi. We're talking about a very, very, very important issue. I'm sure as a guy too, living with sickle cell, such things come. But I know that with women, it's of greater impact. Because there's this attitude of I must marry the child. My mother must give birth. If the mother doesn't have a child, there's in-law wahala. There is all sorts of wahala. I even had a friend who had to check out with her husband because of this issue and pressure. So you can imagine with a person with sickle cell, it's even worse.
Mhm.
So it's good to have this topic, and we're having special guests to talk on this matter who have gone through these things and explain. And we also have a doctor who is also a warrior. So we have her perspective as well. So we're going to welcome them one by one and then read their bio and then we'll start.
Great.
Welcome, Olaide.
Good
Welcome,
evening,
Chinoso.
everyone.
Uh, good to have you here. Welcome, welcome.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah,
That's
so I will first read Chinoso's bio, then leave Yomi to read Olaido's bio. We're still expecting somebody, and we hope that she'll be able to join us soon. But in the meantime, we'll continue with the program. So we'll start with Chinoso's bio, and she's Dr. Chinoso Anyanwuyeya. I hope I got that pronunciation right. I don't want to butcher your
Not
name.
too bad.
Yeah. She was a senior register hermatologist at the University College Hospital Ibadan, UCH as we call it. I remember those days of going to UCH. Now a specialty doctor in hematology in the United Kingdom. She's a co-founder of Sun Child Foundation, which aims to improve the lives and health of people with sickle cell disease. She runs Desert Roads Sickle Cell Support page on Facebook for sickle cell education. She lives with sickle cell anemia and she's a wife and mother, loves music, taking walks, experimenting with homemade body butter and soap recipes. I must get that information for you. Let's start YouTube. Let's start YouTubing. YouTubing. So welcome, Gino. So it's great to see you. It's great to have you here.
Thank
It's been a
you.
while. All right. So Yomi, over to you.
yes. Every warrior loves music. How do we do it?
We need it. We need
We
it.
Just
need it. So
we need it.
it's a
We
important
need
thing.
it.
Therapy.
Adelusi Della Olaide. She's a mom of two. She does airlight makeovers which is into makeup and beauty. She also makes wigs too. She's also the CEO of Airlight Bell Foods, a catering and events company, and she's a project manager for from some foundations. Adesola is a graduate of Olabisi Onabanjo University, where she studied microbiology. She likes reading, she likes surfing the net, she likes writing, she likes to make wigs when she's in her leisure time. She said life is too short to be unhappy.
Hmm.
And when people talk, do you all the way. That's Adenosi Dela Olaide for us. Hi
Yeah, welcome,
Olaide, how are
Olaide.
you?
Good evening, everyone.
So good
You're
to have you
welcome.
tonight.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Wow.
Okay, so we'll kick off with the first question. Over to you, Yomi. As we start this program, we want to get deep, deep, deep into issues about pregnancy and people with sickle cell. Can they even get pregnant? So let's start.
Yeah, so
Oh, he's gone off. Something happened. Okay, don't worry. We'll. All right. I'll ask. Let's start from the top. How did you receive the news? When your pregnancy, was there fear? Was there joy? How did you feel? Because I mean, and even before there, was it even difficult? Because there's a tendency of people saying, "Oh, it took a long time for me to have a child." And my family or my in-laws were pressuring me. So did you have that? And even when you finally received the news, was there joy or fear that I will not be able to carry this baby full time and all that? I'll start with you, Chino. So
Okay. Well, like every woman, you'll be excited first of all, but then, can you hear me?
yes, we can very
yes,
well.
we can.
Okay. You're excited at first, but especially having a medical background, and then you see complications in people with sickle cell. You have, your fear on one hand, your excitement on the other, and then in the middle you have hope, and faith. And so that's it. There's never been any, like thought that you will not be able to go through the pregnancy, but you still have those risks, at the back of your mind. What if this happens? What if that happens? And you just wait for time to tell. Nigerians with prayer mood, faith, belief, and you move on and see what happens. So
Yeah, yeah. Olaide, what about you?
Well, in my case, it was fear at first. Like I was in shock. I was afraid because of the news I've heard about. Okay, if your sickle cell pregnancy is always hard and all. And then
Mm,
there was this excitement, like, oh, so I have a baby inside me. Oh, okay. How is it going to go and all? The when I first knew and all, I was just trying to weigh my options, like, okay, if it begins to affect my health, what would I do and all? But on the other hand, I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
mm. And how did were your family supportive, or did you have to go through it alone and all that stuff?
Actually, they were supportive. The funny thing is, I didn't tell anyone except my husband. I didn't tell anyone for the first
Mm,
4 months. Like, no one knew. My tummy was flat. I was eating. I was functioning well and everything. And I just wake up and I'm off to work.
For the
mm.
And then
first
I'm
four
back in the
months.
evening sleeping and everything. You said what?
I said for the first 4 months, nobody knew.
Yes, nobody knew.
Wow.
No one knew. So I was cooking. I was doing everything. I didn't have any issue. I didn't have any morning sickness. And it was more like I was in a ball. And I'm like, is this true? Is this real? Even my workers didn't know. And till I started showing.
Mm.
But the only thing they knew is that I was always requesting, cravings. I was always requesting them to cook me concussion rice, of which I don't eat their food. I don't eat with them or anything. But every morning I get to the store and like,
can you make concussion rice? Please buy Titus. So so for a while she was wondering like this woman is just eating concussion rice. Hope no problem. That was the first indication that gave me away. But they couldn't act and everything, and I
Mm.
was not showing.
Mm.
So it was, and then when everybody knew, I eventually told. They were all supportive, very, very supportive.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. That was just about leading me to my own first question from this end. That's okay. I'm not a woman, so I don't know how it feels. But from what I've read, from what I've heard, that the first 3 months are like the most critical in pregnancy. So, but you have said that the first 3 months you didn't even show it, you didn't feel anything. So,
Like I didn't. Okay,
doctor,
Go
did you
ahead.
feel anything those first 3 months? How did you manage? How did you cope?
Just like she said, the first 3 months were also, you know, um, they were also kind of like smooth sailing. Again, you don't want to excite so many people, because
Mm.
you don't know how the journey is ahead. So you keep the news to yourself and maybe your husband. Um, Unfortunately for me, for one of my pregnancies, I had repeated crisis from the second month, the third month that required admission. And so that was how people I worked with knew. So
Mm.
otherwise, before that, there was no indication. Nobody knew until, you had to go into the hospital. So
Wow.
But I like to ask you a question, which might take you back a bit. When you got married and you are having a child, did any of your extended family know you had sickle cell?
I carry the fact I have sickle cell like a placard on my head. Like, if you come near me, you and everybody around you, you have to know. That's the first. So if you can't cross that line, it's not going anywhere. So from the start,
Hmm.
everybody knew. From the start, we knew where we were going from the start. So if you don't think you have the liver to continue the journey, you and your family ahead. So everyone knew.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
very interesting. Okay, so we now have Sheung on board. Sheung, can you hear us?
Yes, ma, we can hear you, ma.
Okay. Yomi, introduce Sheung to the audience.
All right. Passion, how you doing?
Yes, I'm fine.
All right.
Sorry
So
for coming late.
Oluwaseun Iyabode Mogaji is a
Yes,
single mother of 3 kids. She studied
Wow.
business administration at Federal Polytechnic Ilaro in Ogun State, Nigeria. She's a sickle cell warrior and an advocate. She currently works as a makeup artist, band, and event planner.
Hmm.
Hi, Sheon, you're welcome to Touch a Cell with Toyin and the gang, the online edition.
thank you so much. I'm so
Yeah,
glad
so
to be here.
we've had you on the radio show several times talking about this issue. So it's glad we are so very happy to have you today online. So Sheon, we've been asking, how did you feel when you first heard that you were pregnant?
Ah, it was like a dream. Like maybe I was dreaming because I never thought I could get pregnant because thinking that because my mom had late, like she waited 7, 8 years without no pregnancy. So when I got married and I got to know I was pregnant, I was shocked that pregnancy care. And it was within like 4 months. I was thinking that maybe I'll wait a year or 2 years or so, plus my sickle cell stuff and everything. But God did it within 3 months to 4 months. I got pregnant, and I was so surprised. I was surprised. I was scared. I was excited. Everything, all the emotions were there all
Hmm.
together. So that was the feeling I got at first when I knew that I was pregnant.
Oh, great,
And when they told
great.
me that I was pregnant with twins, I was going crazy. Like, me, twins, like twins. Where did that come from?
Wow,
That was it.
wow.
Wow. Yeah,
So
wow.
the first edition, you just had twins. Blah.
Yes, just like that.
Just like that.
Yes.
So how did you feel in the first 3 months? Did you feel anyhow? Did you feel like, am I the same Oluwaseun? What's happening here? How did you feel?
I was so down. I was in the hospital the first 3 months. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. And sometimes being pregnant comes with a lot of issues. Sometimes my own came with a teeth ache. So I was like, what is this thing about teeth and teeth? And I went to the dentist, and the dentist told me that my one of my wisdom teeth is doing something something, and she removed it. When she removed it, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything. I was just there, my jaw gummed together. I couldn't open up. I was not able to eat. I was using straw to like take pap, take tea. That was the only thing I could take for the first 3 months. Going to the 5th month, I was in the hospital throughout.
Mm. Wow, wow. Okay, I have this question for Chinonso. Um, what would you say? What would you advise, especially with women with sickle cell, what they should do for their first trimester? And then the second question is a double question. Now, there's this thing about, okay, people with sickle cell should not have more than a particular amount of children. Is it true? If not, what should they really do?
Okay. Um, the first thing I would say is a woman with sickle cell can get pregnant and can have children, okay? But it's known that they have more complications,
Mm,
problems with the mother, problems with the child, and so it makes it more difficult compared to people who do not have sickle cell, who are in quote healthy,
mm,
in quote. So that's aside. So knowing that and knowing it's actually advised that when a woman with sickle cell, if she thinks she's in a situation where she can get pregnant, thinking she wants to get pregnant in a relationship where she's having sex, unprotected sex, or with living with her husband, where you are already thinking you could get pregnant, she should see her doctors. So meaning that she should see both the O&G guys are the people in charge of pregnancy and people who look after her health usually on a regular basis, whether it's her hematologist or whatever. So we're talking about pre-pregnancy. So number one, she should take folic acid on a regular basis. You know that folic acid, I say, what am I doing? Folic acid is important for her health and the health of
mm,
the baby she's not yet. So we go and see them, let them know you're planning. Everybody has an idea of what it could be like. Oh, your health has been good. We don't think there'll be any issues. Oh, your health, well, we'll keep a close eye on you. As soon as she gets pregnant, as soon as she gets pregnant, she should see her doctor. Okay? And they usually refer women with sickle cell to the, that's obstetricians and obstetricians as soon as possible because they
mm,
put them like class them as high risk pregnancies, high risk for the mother and high risk for the child because they need closer monitoring. You know, she may have more. It's not like it's 100%. Just Olaide had a smooth sail, so you don't need to expect it. But she may have more periods where she needs blood transfusions, more periods where she needs safe antibiotics, safe anti-malarial because she's pregnant. She may need to rest more. She may be prone to dehydration. Maybe she's not eating well, just like Sheon was not eating, or she's vomiting. They need to be monitored closely. So
mm,
you have to be very close to help to your doctors at that point in time. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is. It's expensive. You
Yeah.
can be lucky, you may not be that lucky.
Yeah.
So that
Now,
was the first question. Then the
the
question you
other
asked,
question, yes,
yes.
about children. Yeah.
No, it all depends. Like if you have, I know that people say, "Oh, don't have more than 4 kids." Don't have. There's no rule in the book. When you check the books, there's no rule. But it depends on how each of your pregnancy or your total pregnancies have gone. I mean, if you've had fairly stable, smooth pregnancies, you go ahead and have as much as your health can tolerate. But many people say, oh, when she has up to 4, if she's able to have up to 4, just stop there. It's because of how difficult many of the sickle can be and get that cut off. But if you get it, so there's, but it's just to guide that a woman
Yeah.
doesn't wear children.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned something about folic acid. Sorry, folic acid. But I know there's some people who have come and said that doctors have put them on iron supplements, even though they had sickle cell. Um, should this be done, or it's no? Because I know we have issues with about iron supplements. So for a pregnant woman, is it okay to give the child iron supplements? I mean, the
Okay,
mother,
that's to
sorry,
give the woman,
the
the
mother, yes,
pregnant woman, iron.
yes.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable. The reason now. So, growing up, we've always known that, oh, you should don't let your doctor give you iron. But there are some sickle cell, even not pregnant, sickle cell patients who have iron deficiency. All right. So
Mm,
why they say you should not get iron is because your body already has iron stores. You
yeah.
eat your food contains iron, and you do not lose your body's iron. You get transfused. Sometimes you get transfused and you get more iron in you. So you're more likely to have iron overload than
Mm,
iron deficiency. But when you begin to menstruate, you lose blood on a monthly basis. Those can are forms of losing iron. Then when you get pregnant, your baby takes part of your iron stores. So you're likely to become iron deficient if you know on a normal a woman who is not doesn't have sickle cell is likely to get iron deficient when she's pregnant, especially if she's not eating good sources of iron. So she's going to lose blood in pregnancy. She's going to give her baby some of her iron. So because of that, they usually give pregnant women iron just to be on the safe side.
okay.
That's
Okay.
why many doctors also give sickle cell patients iron because they will give their babies and they will lose blood. But
Okay.
if things work well, there are tests that they can do to confirm she's iron deficient, and then but those
Mm,
tests are not working. So just try to err on the side because
Mm.
why all this iron is in blood. So if you don't have enough iron, you will not make good blood cells. So that's the reason why they give sickle cell women with sickle cell who are pregnant iron. But that doesn't mean that they will continue it after the pregnancy unless they really need
pregnancy.
it. I hope it makes sense.
Okay, we'll
Yes.
be there.
Mm. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Chinonso, for that answer. So, but for me as a man, what I'm thinking about right now is I have heard stories of how men, fathers, they will run away when their wives want to give birth. Like some of them will just intentionally travel when it's around that ED. I don't know why they do that. So I'm wondering, labor pain versus crisis pain. You trio have experienced both. Which one is hardest or which one is more difficult? I'm thinking about it.
Crisis
What?
pain. Crisis.
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 Really? Okay.
Crisis.
But
because
people say that labor
when I
pain is
was in when I first fell in labor,
uh,
I actually thought I was having crisis, not labor.
Mm.
Even with my
Same here.
contractions and everything, I thought I was in crisis. So it wasn't until I got to the hospital that I got to know that okay, it was not crisis, it was labor pain.
Wow.
And it wasn't as crazy as my normal crisis. Like I could
Mm.
still walk in, I
Yeah.
wasn't crying, I wasn't wailing. I walked in.
Mm.
And before then, I had then on my by my third
mm,
trimester, I had crisis.
crisis.
So I was on admission and then I left. Even at that, I was having crisis. I didn't know I was in labor all through that week till I went back to the hospital when I had another bout of crisis. So to me, I think crisis pain is actually crazier than labor pain because all I thought I had was crisis
Wow.
till I gave birth.
Wow. Here,
Mm.
you
So what
experience
about
As
you?
anything?
Lydia has said, crisis pain is more than labor pain because it happened to me too. When I was in labor, I fell into labor 7 months before my due date. So I didn't know I thought I had crisis. I was like, maybe it's crisis, maybe it's crisis. I was still working. Let me just use my normal routine drug, it will go. Let me just use my pain relief, it won't go. So when I started noticing my water broke, I was like, okay, this is not crisis. I think I'm in labor. So I had to tell my husband. He was like, no, you're in crisis. You know how to handle your crisis. If you're in crisis until you start to cry, you're not in crisis. The pain is not there. I was like, this is what I'm seeing. What I was like, she'll go and sit down tomorrow. That's why I was like, and it was like 11 p.m. in the night. That's why I took the car key
Wow.
by myself, and I was driving. For me, that's why I said,
Ha.
that's why I knew that labor pain is nothing compared to crisis at all. Crisis is more of a higher rate to labor because I could still drive, and normally when I'm in crisis, I can't even stand up on my own. For me to stand up while I was in labor and to drive while I was in labor, no, 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 no. That's it. It's not comparable. It's not.
Oh, something I would say is they are different things. They are totally different things. When
Mm,
you have crisis, you may have an infection, you may have blood obstruction, you may have swelling, you have so many things going on at the same time. And
yeah.
then it usually takes a longer time to start to peak and then begin to come down.
Mhm.
It may take
Mm,
weeks and days. It may reach different levels. But you see, labor pain is natural. It just wants the baby to come out stage by stage. It may last more than 24 hours and it's done. It's just quick. They are totally different things. I don't even think it should be compared.
it's not.
I don't think because one is natural, the other one is a sickness. That one is an
Yes.
illness. I don't think it should be compared.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, why I do that? Because some people always think that with crisis, I don't know how to say it in Europe in English, but there's something like Ankara. We are just it's not a big deal.
Mm,
You're feeling it.
What did you say, Yomi?
You're feeling the pains.
Yeah, yes, that is why are you making such a big deal out of, and I was so
bikini.
that's why I said that the comparison, because sometimes they always think, I remember one time I met a pregnant nurse who was like, you should be used to pay that. I was like, maybe she's trying to compare it with
Mm. The labor
pregnancy
pain.
pain, labor pain,
Mm.
exactly. So she doesn't realize you can't
Mm.
compare like that.
There are
So that's
different grades. This crisis pain, there are different grades.
yes,
There are those that you said you will close your eye and hiss. Then there are those that you will just be, managing, and there are those that you will scream. So
yes,
there are different
exactly.
grades. Yeah. So you can't even.
Yeah, and I was in ICU then, so like I was like I'll just be covering from an operation, and it just took up to another level. So those are the ones that when they give you the major injection, after 1 hour is back again.
You start again.
uh, okay, Yomi, are you there? Okay, he's gone off again. All right, let me ask the next question. And it's more on the mode of for both of you, the mode of operation, because there's always this context of is it vaginal delivery or cesarean, is it the one or the other, because of sickle cell crisis. But so I'll ask so first that question, that what is the best, when I get information on who got what is the best method of delivery for a woman with sickle cell?
Good question.
Well, at the moment, there's no best method. What they try to encourage is vaginal delivery. Vaginal delivery is natural. It's natural, less complications, unless there are reasons for you to have a cesarean section. I know a lot
Mm,
of people say, okay, let's get her up to this point and then we cut and take it out. But then the cesarean section on its own has its own complications, you know. So they try to reduce the risk of complications, but then again, people try to err on the side of caution. But if you weigh the risk and benefits, which is better? It all depends on the situation. The woman may already have indications, for cesarean section. For instance, maybe her pelvis is too small, to get the baby out. She's already very weak to push from one or two reasons. Maybe she's been in crisis for a long time. She's not. She may have reasons. She may have had a previous one or two previous cesarean sections, so they just go ahead and section her. But
mm.
in the end, a lot of people try to encourage, vaginal delivery, not because just to make sure she has less complications actually.
Okay. Okay, so but what did you have?
Well, I've not had a cesarean yet, so I'll just put it that way. So I've not had a cesarean yet, but then if I have the need for a cesarean, of course I will take it.
Take it. Okay. Shehu, what about you?
Mm.
I had cesarean. I had
For all your
cesarean.
pregnancies or some?
Yes, for all, because my doctor advised me. I didn't really ask why I was advised from the hematology department. They advised me that anytime I get pregnant, or maybe they see some things. Do you understand? Maybe they've seen some things. I didn't actually ask them, but they've been telling me when I was sick for like 6 months. I was bedridden for 6 months. After that 6 months, and my consultant and my doctor was telling me that anytime I get pregnant and I want to give birth, I should tell them I'm going for cesarean section. And by the time I wanted to give birth, I didn't even have the option to even choose again, because by the time I got to the hospital, I was out. The next thing I knew, that I was in the operating table already. So I think they've seen my file and everything, and they saw that, okay, this lady, they are putting her she's going for cesarean, nothing about her. And after the first one, my second pregnancy too, I just like, it's cesarean, I've done it once, I didn't have any complication, so let me go ahead and do it again. So that's how I did it for both pregnancy.
Okay. Lady?
Oh well, I had CS because when I first started antenatal, I was told I even have a very small waist, if you see me. So I was told I have a small cervix and all. I remember that there was a time I came to you to start sewing, that I wanted to do a circlage operation, if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
part of that was when I first went for antenatal and they did scan, and I was told to keep the baby, I have to do a circlage and all. But by the time we went for second option, went to another hospital and did all the tests and everything again, I was told not yet, that they would need to monitor me. And when I didn't see any issues and everything, I'd always made up my mind to go for CS because I know I had a small waist and a small pelvic and all. So from start, they had already let me understand that the only option I have is here and all. Even when I went into labor and I could push and everything, I generally went for CS. I just didn't want that complications or anything and all. Seeing that I've
Mm,
dealt with, I was dealing with osteomyelitis then and everything. So
yeah.
I didn't want any bone issue or complications. So I'd already made up my mind to do CS. And I did for my first and I did for my second.
Wow. Dr. Chino, so there's a question here for you. It says, are there sickle cell complications that affect pregnancy, that can affect pregnancy?
Mm. Well, if we start from the beginning, thank you for that question. I think that's from Larry. If we start from the beginning, sickle cell on its own can affect pregnancy. Then, because the main issue. Okay, let me look at it two ways. I'm not an obstetrician, but the main issue is just the sickling, affecting the placenta,
No.
the beds of the womb, the blood supply to the baby, you know. So it can reduce blood supply to the baby, and then babies born of women with sickle cell are smaller than
Mm,
usual. Okay,
Yeah,
they're
that's
smaller
true.
than usual.
That's
So,
true.
so that's the first one.
Yeah.
Again, if it's too much, it can totally reduce, block blood supply to the baby and lead to so many other complications that cause miscarriages. All right.
mm,
So that's the second part. Then the stress of the pregnancy on its own. Women who are in quote again, when I say in quote, people let me put it, women that don't have sickle cell disease, you know, they already have their own, they have extra stress from pregnancy. And then you bring someone who from time immemorial has had an anemia, low
yeah.
blood level for all their life, with the extra stress it has had on their hearts, on their lungs, and everything. So it weighs them more. Some of them, they cannot even cope. They have to rest throughout the pregnancy. Some of them need, because it can affect how they breathe. It can give
Mm,
extra work to their heart. The heart is working much more. Um, Sometimes it stresses the kidneys too, especially when they had previous kidney, when sickle cell had already affected the kidney in the past. And almost in a lot of ways. And the fact that people with sickle cell are prone to having infections, a woman who doesn't have sickle cell can have repeated urinary tract, infections. But then if you add sickle cell to the book and she doesn't seek for, help or care immediately, that one can trigger into something else. So yes, sickle cell complications such as if they already have problems with their hearts from sickle cell, problems with their kidneys from sickle cell, the pregnancy can give more stress to these organs and make the pregnancy quite difficult. But that is not to say that a woman with sickle cell and these complications cannot go through pregnancy, but it's going to be difficult usually. You know.
mm, yeah. Yeah. Okay, we just have a few more minutes to close. So let Yomi ask his question, then I'll ask the final question.
All right, Dr. Chinonso, please, I am directing my question to you, and I want you to help us men to better probably help our wives through the process. So when a man gets married, and especially when the woman now gets pregnant, everything he's thinking about is money, money, money. I'm thinking about in case it is CS, how will I raise, like, I don't know how much it is, probably 300, 400,000 naira. So, but to the extent that they will now even forget the basic things that they need to know. Probably things like what's the meaning of ED, what's the meaning of water broke, things like that. How I want you to give us tips for men so that it can help us help our wives through the process of pregnancy so that we can be empathic through the entire process.
Okay, that's a good one. I don't know how to start. Maybe I wish I had a book to recommend to you people to start with. All right. So let's make it as brief as possible.
Mm.
Okay. Yes, the money aspect is very important. You do not start to raise the money, both of you and your family's support. You don't start to raise the money towards the end. So if you think she's going to get pregnant, I know how hard it is, but if you think you're looking forward to having a baby, you can start a small fund, just no matter how little it is, even before she gets pregnant, no matter how little. And then when both of you, because the pregnancy is not she, when both of you get pregnant, you do extra from the start. You add a little extra to that fund, because by the time you get to the goal post, you already have something. You
Mm.
already have something to work with. All right. So that's for the financial aspect, but then that's life. Number two, as soon as you take a woman that you're ready to start children with, you begin to ask those questions. It's not when she's pregnant or when she's towards the end. If you have opportunity, ask her when she comes back from antenatal, what did you learn today? What did they say? Learn with her. All right. And if you can, I know you need to go to work. If you can, go with her occasionally to antenatal and you learn. And honestly, there are books. If you just go online, what do I need to know about pregnancy? There are books, there are articles, short articles, interesting articles that can help you learn gradually. Like just like you say, EDD, water book. It's not a culture for men, for mothers and people to talk about it in front of guys. So most of the time you learn it when when you're playing the ball on the field. And the empathy is very important. It's
Yeah.
stressful being the head of the man of the house, being the man, the head of the house, but you need to have a way to find a way that your wife needs you to support her. Just go with her through the journey. If you have one, you have a daughter. Even her said that's her first time, probably. So both of you will learn along the way. The second one, so on. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Before I ask
Let's go.
my last question, there's this one that Larry is asking: how susceptible to miscarriage are women living with sickle cell, and what can be done to prevent it?
What can be done to prevent it? Let me start from the end. What can be done to prevent it? Sometimes nothing can be done to prevent it. Many times nothing can be done to prevent it. But what you can do to help can be um, visiting your doctor as early as you know you're pregnant and doing what they say you should do. And as soon as you think something is wrong, no matter, just like my sister said, she was pregnant, she was in labor, her husband did not even give. Go to, as soon as you suspect something has shifted from the normal, seek help immediately. Okay.
All right. Okay, Larry has another one for Shehu and Olaide. Larry, you're just taking my questions away. Okay, Larry. Okay, Olaide and Shehu, did your husband go with you to the antenatal? Does any husband ever go with them to how did they plan the routes? Okay.
For the first one, he did. Basically, we were there together from start to finish.
Wow.
And before
I
then,
plan.
there was a time I was in Lutz that I was doing chronicles of my Lutz experience. He was there as well. So he had already started learning the ropes and everything. So when the pregnancy came, I always make sure I send him articles to read. And most times he will send me articles on what he tried to find out and everything. So he was there from start to finish. Till I went
Wow.
to the theater, till I came out, till I was in the hospital and everything. He was there from start to finish.
Did they allow
But
him
by the
into the
second
labor
one
room?
now, the finish has entered. So I did my thing again.
When Yomi was saying, did they allow him inside the labor room?
Inside the labor room, the theater, he
Yes.
was peeping. They actually told him he could enter, but he was scared. So he was peeping from the window. And he was the
Oh,
first to take his baby. But he was peeping. Didn't enter.
Olaide, what about you?
So
Shehu, what
So,
about you? Sorry.
My husband didn't go with me from the beginning. He only went for the blood donation, and eventually he didn't donate any blood. I had to ask one of my male friends to donate for me. He was not in it from day one
Wow.
to the end. It was only
Mm.
when I was about to give birth, I was in the theater already. That's when he came, and he was outside and told him I had twins. He was not in with me from the beginning. So when the second
Mm.
pregnancy came, self, I didn't even bother to I didn't even bother to push him, because the first one he was not really active about it, and the second one I was like, okay, my male friends, please, I beg, I need your blood again this time around, because they are the only ones there always donating for me, even before I met him,
Mm.
even before I met him,
wow.
that okay, this person I'm getting married to, they were always there for me whenever I'm in crisis, whenever I need blood transfusion. So when he got to the hospital for blood transfusion,
Wow.
Wow.
Shehu has frozen.
he was like, he was fidgeting and he was like vomiting, and he said he couldn't donate blood. He's scared of blood and things like that. I just picked up my phone and called my friend, please, go boy, they come, sharp, sharp. So I didn't even bother. The second pregnancy, I didn't even bother. My blood were there already in case I need. I have 5 pints of blood. I have 5 people that will donate it for me already. So I didn't even put him along. I just kept him one side. Just be the
Five
peacemaker.
and
Oh dear. Mm.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Thank God
You
for
know how
friends.
different stories.
Ah,
Especially my husband, I'm
wow.
always strict about everything. I'm always being on the facts and saying the truth. There are some men that they don't really get into the fitting of being the husband, not
Mm.
talking of being the father. There are
Mm.
some men like that. There are some men that are both into it. So mine was not into it at all.
Mm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So speaking of friends, which brings me to the final question that I was going to ask all of you. How important is a support system around you, especially during pregnancy? And I'll just take short of each one of you. Or Lydia, I'll start with you.
Ah, support is actually very important. I have a friend, Joy. In fact, for the first 4 months of my pregnancy, I was in her house. Whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is I want to eat, she makes sure it's ready. You know, like I could wake up in the morning and say, I'm craving stir fried vegetable. She's ready. She was really, really a good support. She was really, really a good support for me. She was. No, that was for the first, that was my second trimester. She was there all through, all
Wow.
through. So it's really, really important. There are days you don't even feel like cooking, and then you just need someone to cook for you and home.
Mm. Mm. Interesting. So,
Well, you see, support. If you have good friends, you're lucky. If you have family, you're lucky.
mm.
And if you have a partner or a spouse who is supportive, you're lucky.
You're lucky.
It's
Mm.
difficult to go through the journey alone.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Yeah. So yeah. So Shehu, what about you?
I had support from my friends. Actually, I have more male friends than female friends. I actually have one female friend. Now, actually, when I was pregnant, she was in Abeokuta. So my male friends are always there because my husband was always around. He's always at work sometimes, but sometimes we just go out. So, and my mom too. Let me say my mom is my best friend. Let me
Mm.
just say that. So my mom has been my number one, as in my number one backbone. Yomi can testify to that. So, and my male friends too, they're always there for me, even when I was not sick, even when I'm sick, even when I'm healthy, they're always checking on me. Even if I don't call them, they'll call me, Shem, how are you? How are you doing? when I was pregnant, when they knew I was pregnant, they were always coming to me. When they are coming from work, they will branch. I think they are the one they married me. Those that will bring burger, we bring burger. Those that will bring food, we bring food. Those who bring water, drinks, everything. They will bring. I was like, this thing is getting too much. Don't let my husband say something else. So I was when I was like pushing them back, was like, this is enough. But they were still there. They've known me since when I was a kid. We went to primary school together, so they can't let anyone come and just mishandle me anyhow like that. That they've been taking care of me. They've been there for me. So till the end, they will be there for me. So I have good friends. Thumbs up to them.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, it's been an interesting, we've even gone past our time. It's been an interesting discussion. And the takeaway is that one size doesn't fit all. The most important
Yes,
thing
no two
is
pregnancy is the same.
exactly. The most important thing is that we decide through our medical support system what is right for us, and then of
Us,
course we should surround ourselves with people that will support us during this period.
us,
And even just generally, because let's face it, living with sickle cell has its challenges. And the important thing is that we have people around us when we are down, when we need their helps. Because I know sometimes people with sickle cell think that, okay, I don't want anybody to share my problem. I don't want anybody to do this. But the more we keep it to ourselves, the more we get more depressed, more challenges come. So it's very important that we seek that support. So thank you very much, all of you, Olaide, Chinonso, and Sheung for coming on the show. It's been an interesting edition, and I hope that even those watching the replay will take a lot from this, because definitely living with sickle cell has its challenges, but it doesn't stop you from having a child. That's the most important
yes,
thing. It does not stop
yes,
you from having a child. You just have to know your body and go to the right medical team to help you through the process. So that's what's important. Yeah. All right. My co-host, my
for
co-host
me.
has network has been very, very fantastic with him. On behalf of Yomi, I'd like to thank all of you for coming on the show. And for those of you who have been watching, this is the Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, powered Touch a Cell Show with Toyin and the gang. I'm your host, Toyin, for today. And today we had Yomi. Hello, Yomi. Bye, Yomi. Bye, everybody. Before you come out
Thank you,
again.
lady. Thank you, Dr. Chinosi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and
Thank
don't forget
you.
to join us next week,
Please drop
Saturday.
your social media handle so that people can talk to you later after
Yes,
this show.
yes, drop
Okay.
your social media handle. Uh, so that they can ask questions and then contact you. Especially warriors who feel that they cannot go through this alone. It's very important that they talk to other people. So thank you once again for being on the show. And till next time, guys. Um, I hope you'll enjoy this program, and don't forget to like and follow us on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel to get more information at the end of the day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks for having
Bye.